Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the Robot Damashii, or the Robot Spirits, TALLGEESE 3. This is the Endless Waltz version of the TALLGEESE figure, number 101, window package, regular, standard release figure. Now I know what you're thinking, OMG, WTF, BBQ, this is the exact same figure again, basically. And you're right, it really is basically the exact same figure. Let's do a quick rundown. I'm not going to go through the entire figure with you. Legs, exactly the same. The lack of gray feet does change the look of it a little bit, but it's still the exact same. Hips are all the same, torso is all the same, crotch is all the same, arms are all the same. The only difference here is we actually have new shoulder pads this time, and we have a new head. Otherwise, the body is exactly the same. So, I'm not going to go through the body at all. I will point out the head because the head's kind of important. This guy does have a really cool looking head. Really cool looking. I love that look. His chin is connected to his head again. So that's going to get in the way. You can kind of angle the head to make it look like he's looking to the side more, but you can't really do it. He can look up and down, and that's fine. But having that chin piece connected just really gets in the way. Shoulder pads, they work basically the same as before, only they have less range of motion. They don't have nearly as much play, or they have a lot less. Let's just word it that way. Not as good. The shoulders are different, other than just the sculpt. We have the little pegs that come out this way now, so I personally like that design a little bit better. The whites on this guy, because this guy has even more white than the TALLGEESE 1, he does have some gray throughout and this pearlescent. So as you can see, hopefully there's pearlescent going around here, there's pearlescent going on the knee pads. This is actually just kind of a gray. Then there's gray on the feet, and there's not a whole lot of pearlescent actually. So that's a little disappointing. And then he does have just a hint of blue around the back and on the sides. Not a whole lot. Again, it's a really white figure, so if you like the all white figures, this is definitely one to pick up. It's kind of cool. If you're not sure about the articulation, check back to the TALLGEESE 1 review, since I went through all of the articulation in detail for this guy. Same exact mold other than the shoulders. It is decent, it's just not great. But we can add a little bit of color to this guy by adding some of these, which these are the exact same, but we're about to get into some accessories that are actually a lot different and a whole lot cooler. So let's just add these thruster packs on him back here, and these are all blue as opposed to the partial blue from the TALLGEESE 2. So these add a whole lot of color that's much needed on this guy. They balance him out just a little bit, I think. So we've got the blue thruster packs on there, and now on his left side, our right side, we have a whole new shield. This thing, which is way cool. It has this on it, which connects to the shoulder piece. If I can fold that out. So that connects to the shoulder piece. You can still see he's got a handle in here, and he does still have his two beam saber grips in here. So that's pretty sweet, pretty awesome. And I know what you're thinking. I'm positive I know what you're thinking. If I can get that back in, you're thinking that front piece looks like it does something. And it does. This piece comes out. If I can get it out. So that pops out. And the reason that pops out is because you have this, which is very Epion-like. It's actually, I think it's the exact same sculpt. And this is his whip. When you pop this back on the front, very carefully without breaking anything, and now you've got the shield with the whip that extends out of it, which is, in my opinion, freaking cool. So we're gonna just leave that there. We're gonna spin that around and connect that. I love the little red accents, by the way. That was a good call. We're gonna spin that around and we're gonna connect this to the shoulder pad and then pop off the shoulder pad, unfortunately. So let's pop that back on. Be careful with all of the snapping. So you're going to want to use one of the gripping hands to put the shield actually in his hand. I'm not going to bother doing that because I'm quite certain you guys are intelligent enough to understand that he would be holding that. But you can see that's already pretty sweet, having that whip connected to the shield. Really cool. So I'm going to set him down. I'm going to grab the other thing that really stands out for this guy compared to the other TALLGEESEs. TALLGEESEs. is this gun, which is a really big gun compared to his other guns. It has this cool kind of arc reactor thingy and these copper cables going through it, which look awesome. And then this part, you can actually take it apart. Let's do that. Come on, take it apart. Okay, so we take this all apart. If I can remember how it goes. Some of them slide, some of them pop out. What the heck? It should just come out. But these just go on the end, and that's why it didn't fit. And then you can put it back into this. So the gun extends to be, in good old-fashioned Gundam fashion, a giant, long, huge railgun. So that's cool. And then this part here snaps into the shoulder, just like all of the guns have. So he still has the gun and the shield that snap into the shoulder. But this one has a really big gun and a really cool shield that snap into the shoulder. So he's definitely, look how big that gun is. It's humongous. In fact, it's so humongous that I'm going to take the time to show you guys what it looks excuse me, what it looks like not so humongous. So we want to slide that in there and slide this one in here. Look at that, I'm a pro. Alright, now we put it back together and rip it off all at once. So these guys, of course you guys know, if you're collecting Robot Damashii, the more parts you have, the easier they are to get knocked off, but that's okay. We'll pop it back on. So he's got a really big, sweet gun. It actually, the hinge is much better the way they designed it for the shoulder. It doesn't get in the way of these thrusters nearly as much, and he can still hold it just fine. If you put the right arm on him, he can hold it just fine. And then he's got this thing, so that's super cool. He's got a really cool gun. And he's got, since I showed you the beam saber handles, this one has the two beam sabers. I don't know why number 2 didn't come with it. Maybe he never used them. I don't know. So he's got the two beam sabers, nice red plastic. And then of course we have some alternate hands. You can see the two fist hands on him now. And then he's got the spread that you might expect. He's got the jazz hands. White hands, by the way, for Robot Damashii. Not super common. Thumbs up hand. And then the two gripping hands for the beam sabers or the shield and the sword grip. So that's the TALLGEESE 3. That concludes this series of TALLGEESE reviews, if you want to call it a series. They're all awesome in their own right. My two favorites are easily 2 and 3, just because they have so much more style to them as compared to the TALLGEESE 1, but there's definitely a place for the TALLGEESE 1 in a Robot Damashii collection, especially if you're a Wing fan. So I'm going to show you all 3 of them right here real quick, and then you can choose which ones you want to buy on your own. If you use the link in the description, you can go to Big Bad Toy Store and see that the TALLGEESE 1 is actually being reissued. Now, it's highly, highly unlikely that the TALLGEESE 2 gets reissued since it is an exclusive, but the TALLGEESE 3, as far as I know, is no sort of exclusive, and there's a good chance it will potentially get reissued. So you may want to grab this guy now while he's back at retail price, and maybe finish up the other ones as you can. So there they are, TALLGEESE 1, 2, and 3. That one's my favorite. That one's a different kind of favorite just because it has the cool guns. I do like the blue on this guy a lot though. And this guy just has a classic, really cool look to him, even though he's a little more sleek. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.